Hello friends, welcome back. In this session, we are going to understand what is AI composed of and what not is AI. Our assumption about what is AI is actually not sufficient. The content that we know about AI is not sufficient. This session is going to get you more exploratory view of what exactly is AI, and this would be a very short yet a very sweet session. What normally is assumed as AI? Very simple. We know that it is all about data, and we develop algorithms with machine learning, deep learning, etc., and we generate some value out of it. Is this enough? No, there are lot many things that we need to know about each of these steps: the data, the AI algorithms, and the value. I'm going to talk about that, and there are something more to it as well, which we'll discuss in this session. And we'll first start with data. When you talk about data, the data selection, the data sourcing, and data synthesis is very, very important. It's actually hidden into the data part. This data is going to have three very important components. The one is data selection, the second one is data sourcing, as I said, and finally it is synthesis. What is data selection? It's a major task, and if you fail here, everything else will automatically follow. The data selection is defined as the process of determining the appropriate data type and the source, as well as the suitable instruments or equipment to collect the data from. So it's very important to understand from where are you going to get the data and how are you going to get it. The next step is data sourcing, which is equally important as well. And this is the process by which you can extract and integrate data from multiple internal as well as from external sources. You are going to integrate the data from available data in your hand, either internally or externally. Now comes the very important part of synthesis. What do you mean by data synthesis? It's a method which can use some statistical techniques to combine the results from different studies and obtain a quantitative understanding or estimate of overall effect of particular intervention or a variable on a defined outcome. So what's the impact that the particular intervention has created is going to be analyzed very clearly with this data synthesis. So the data is not just data, it's going to be selection, sourcing, and synthesis. Well, what next? We are going to talk about the algorithms, the AI. So the AI is normally going to go with the data engineering and modeling. So I have taken the first part here, and that's data engineering, and it has got 5 different aspects of it, 5 different very important phenomena connected to it, and that's what we are going to see right now. The first one is data cleaning, the second one is normalization, the third is data scaling, fourth is data exploration, and fifth is feature engineering. The data cleaning is a very important process which will enable you to get the data in a very clean way. It removes the incorrect, it removes the corrupted data, it removes the incorrectly formatted data, duplications will be removed, the outlays will be removed. All these things will happen in this data cleaning. The next one is data normalization, which is all about organizing the data, which will enable it to appear similar across all the fields. It will make it look very normal. So the data normalization is going to get it look very, very similar across all the fields. This is an important step too. The next one is the data scaling. It helps to normalize the data in a particular range. Your data can be between 0 to 1 or 0 to 10, and you can decide that, and this is called data scaling. This is a very important step too. The next step is data exploration. You need to see the data in a way that you can understand, right? So the visual exploration to understand what is in the data set is called data exploration. You can use techniques, you can use tools, and that gets you a clear visualization of what exactly the data is trying to convey. You will generate the insights, you will get understanding out of the data, and that's what is data exploration all about. And finally, feature engineering. What is it? It's the process of selecting, manipulating, and transforming raw data into features that can be used in supervised learning in future. So the 5 steps are there: data cleaning, normalization, data scaling, data exploration, and feature engineering. Well, now comes the modeling. So the first part is the data engineering, and the second part is modeling. You need to select the model. The model selection is the first process here, which you need to understand, where we are going to select one final machine learning model from among the collection of multiple other machine learning models that you have in hand. You might have developed, you might have used the available models, but you need to choose the one which is going to get you the best of the result. So model selection is very important. The next one is training. The model training is the next very important process. It is like telling your machine learning algorithm that these are all the good things, these are all the bad things. Like you are teaching your own child about what are all the good things, what are all the bad things, and based on the consistent training that you give your child, the child will learn. So the machine learning model is also like your child, which can learn from the training that you are giving, and that's a very important thing. And coming to the next step is evaluation. Well, you have prepared very well for the examination, but how do you evaluate it? You write the exam. Same is the way here. We can use different techniques, evaluation metrics to understand if the machine learning model which you have developed is performing up to the expectation. You will also be able to understand the strength and the weakness through this clear evaluation. And finally, tuning. Well, you have done very well in the exam. You need no tuning. Go ahead. You have done moderately well and you need some more training. You need some more tuning for you. So that's what it's all about, right? So tuning is the process of maximizing the model's performance without doing overfitting or creating too high of a variance. It will improve, but still you are not going to do overfitting here, and that's very important. So we have done the data engineering part of it. Now the modeling part of it is done. You develop a model. You are going to select the model. You are going to train. You are going to evaluate and tune it. Well, what next? The value. You need to deploy. Only then you can get the value that you are expecting out of it. Deployment is the method by which you can integrate a machine learning model into an existing production infrastructure, and you can now start using it. It is going to be a product like content right now for you. And then monitoring. You need to monitor the model very closely. You can monitor so that you can understand the performance of machine learning models in the production infrastructure and environment. So all these time whatever you have done is at your laptop or at your lab, but when you deploy it, you will have to be really careful to see if it is performing to the extent that you really wanted, and that's what is called monitoring. And the next very important step is retraining. The machine learning model retraining, or people also call it continuous training, is nothing but the capacity to automatically and continuously retrain a model on a schedule. It can be on the schedule based or trigger driven by an event. So it's also important. We need to retrain. There could be feedback. The feedback has to be looked into. There could be errors, or there could be further tuning required, and that all can be scheduled, or it can happen through a trigger. So essentially it is deployment, monitoring and retraining coming all together to get you the value. Well, there are some constraints that you need to remember when you go ahead with building an AI system. There are legal complications, ethics you need to look into, and security related content also is something that you need to look into. Overall, I hope that I have given you a clear picture of what are all the things that are required. It is just not data and AI algorithm and value. It is more to it, and that's what this session was all about. I hope you liked the session. If you have any questions, please go ahead and type it in the chat section. I'll be very happy to answer them. If you like the channel, the content, kindly subscribe. Thank you.